One of the worst mistakes you can make is not understanding the signs of mental abuse experienced by victims of narcissists. These subtle signs, often overlooked or dismissed, serve as potent indicators of the insidious nature of mental abuse. Here, we expose 7 unusual nonverbal signs of mental abuse from narcissists, shedding light on the cryptic language of coercion and control. The first sign to look out for: trembling hands. You know when you're trying to put on a brave face, but deep down, you're shaking inside? That's what it's like for victims of narcissistic abuse. Their hands tremble uncontrollably, even when they're pretending everything's fine. It's like their body is shouting out the fear and anxiety they're feeling inside. Whether they're around the narcissist or just thinking about the hurtful things that happened, the trembling won't stop. It's like their body is a mirror reflecting all the emotional turmoil they're going through. It's tough because they want to be strong, but the shaking hands betray the pain they're trying to hide. It's like a silent cry for help that nobody else seems to notice. And no matter how hard they try to steady their hands, the trembling just won't go away. It's like a constant reminder of the control the narcissist has over their emotions. But deep down, they know they're not alone, and there's hope for healing beyond the trembling hands. Next, avoiding eye contact. You know how they say that eyes can tell a lot about a person? Well, for victims of narcissistic abuse, making eye contact can feel like staring into a spotlight. It's like their gaze betrays all the pain and fear bottled up inside. Instead of looking someone in the eye, they find themselves looking away, almost like they're hiding from the world. Maybe it's because they feel ashamed of what they've been through, or perhaps it's just too hard to face the truth head-on. Whatever the reason, avoiding eye contact speaks volumes about the deep scars left by the narcissist's manipulation. It's like their eyes hold all the secrets they're too scared to share. And while they may try to put on a brave face, their eyes give them away every time. It's like a silent plea for understanding from anyone who cares enough to notice. But despite the pain, they know that healing begins with facing their demons, one look at a time. Third sign, early departure from gatherings. Ever been at a party or gathering and suddenly felt this overwhelming urge to leave, even if everything seemed fine? Well, for victims of narcissistic abuse, that feeling is like a constant companion. They might find themselves slipping away from social settings earlier than others, as if they just can't bear to stay a moment longer.
I gotta go.
It's not because they don't want to have fun or be around people. It's more about this deep discomfort and unease that settles in their bones. Sometimes, it's because they catch a glimpse of the narcissist in the room, and all those painful memories come flooding back. Other times, it's just this unshakable feeling that something isn't right, even when everything looks okay on the surface. Leaving early isn't about being rude or antisocial. It's a survival instinct kicking in, a way to escape the suffocating grip of their tormentor. And even though they may feel guilty for bailing, deep down, they know that taking care of themselves is the most important thing. Also, you should check for this: stuttering speech. Ever had those moments when you're trying to speak, but the words just won't come out right? For victims of narcissistic abuse, it's like stumbling through a conversation in a minefield. They find themselves struggling to put their thoughts into words, their speech peppered with stutters and pauses. It's not because they don't know what to say. It's more about this constant fear of saying the wrong thing and facing criticism. The weight of all that scrutiny and judgment hangs heavy on their shoulders, making it hard to speak without stumbling over their words. Each stutter is like a reminder of the barriers the narcissist has built around them, trapping them in a cycle of self-doubt and inhibition. And even though they long to express themselves freely, it feels like their voice has been silenced by the narcissist's relentless criticism. But deep down, They know that breaking free from these chains starts with finding the courage to speak up, one hesitant word at a time. Fifth sign: cold sweats. You know that feeling when you're so stressed out that you start sweating even though it's cold? For victims of narcissistic abuse, that's like a daily struggle. They might find themselves drenched in cold sweat during moments of intense stress and anxiety, almost like their body is trying to wring out all the emotional turmoil churning inside. It's not just about feeling nervous. It's about facing a relentless psychological assault from the narcissist. Whether it's a direct confrontation or just a memory that won't stay buried, these cold sweats serve as a stark reminder of the trauma they endure every day. And even though they try to wipe away the sweat and put on a brave face, it feels like their body is betraying them, revealing the deep scars hidden beneath the surface. But despite the fear and discomfort, they know that each drop of sweat is a testament to their strength and resilience in the face of adversity. Sixth sign: midnight awakenings. Ever experienced waking up suddenly in the dead of night, heart pounding, mind racing, feeling like you've been pulled from a nightmare? For victims of narcissistic abuse, that's like a nightly ordeal. They might find themselves jolting awake from fitful slumber, haunted by intrusive thoughts and terrifying nightmares. It's like their mind won't let them rest, even in the sanctuary of sleep. These midnight awakenings serve as a brutal reminder of the unrelenting grip of their tormentor, lurking in the shadows of their subconscious. No matter how hard they try to escape, it feels like the narcissist's presence looms over them, even in the darkness of night. And even though they long for peaceful slumber, it feels like their dreams have been hijacked by the trauma they're trying so hard to forget. But deep down, they know that each midnight awakening is a testament to their resilience, a sign that they refuse to let the narcissist hold over them define their future. And lastly, persistent fatigue. Do you ever feel like no matter how much you rest, you're still exhausted all the time? Well, for victims of narcissistic abuse, that's like their daily reality. They might try their best to push through, but this unrelenting fatigue hangs over them like a heavy fog. It's not just physical tiredness. It's like their soul is weary from carrying the weight of their pain. Whether it's the constant need to stay on guard around the narcissist or the emotional toll of reliving past traumas, this persistent fatigue feels like a silent cry for help. It's like their body and mind are begging for a break from the relentless suffering they endure. And even though they may try to soldier on, it feels like they're fighting an uphill battle against an enemy they can't see. But deep down, they know that acknowledging their fatigue is the first step toward finding the rest and healing they deserve. The nonverbal signs of mental abuse from narcissists are as diverse as they are insidious, spanning the spectrum from trembling hands to persistent fatigue. By shedding light on these unusual cues, we empower victims to recognize the covert tactics of manipulation employed by their tormentors and take the necessary steps to break free from the cycle of abuse. Only by reclaiming their sense of agency and seeking support can they begin the journey toward healing and restoration. Do you have these signs? Or does someone you know have these? Comment down your experience below. See you in the comments.